guys, so yesterday I talked to you about the spring quarterly update and some of the changes that will be coming into the game with that. Well, today I want to look back at the most recent patch we had, the one that dropped the Super Adventure Books back in the game, and talk about what I believe is actually the greatest perk of this patch and the most important element of this patch for Guild Wars 2 in general at the moment, specifically Heart of Thorns. And I think it's quite important that I do this video for you guys now because in a couple of days, when the spring quarterly update drops in, SAB is going away and you won't be able to take advantage of this. And of course, I'm talking about the Guildhall decorations that were released. And I hope to demonstrate to you guys just how well the secret sauce, the best thing that Josh Foreman and his team, when they brought back SAB, really managed to accomplish with the patch. So yes, the last update we had SAB come back in, and SAB is fantastic for what it is, a game within a game. But really, outside of a few skins and a couple of collections, the auras, for example, the Kaiser skins, we don't see the impact of SAB really hitting anywhere else in Guild Wars 2. It's a nice little festival that's going to come back each year from now on. Maybe, eventually, we might see it gets updated to have a World 3 or something. But aside from that, it doesn't impact much else. You know, you look back at when they first updated the Super Adventure Box, they actually released that at the same time as an Ascended Weapons patch, just so that people who weren't interested in SAB had something to do out in the regular game. And they kind of did that with this SAB patch too. They added the Super Furniture Shops. So I've talked about these a little bit on the channel already. The Super Furniture Shops are new hidden areas in SAB you can find every day. You can collect a bunch of coins from them. You get far fewer coins if you've gone there in Infantile mode, but in regular or Tribulation mode, you can get a lot more. And with these coins in hand, you can trade them at the Guildhall for Super Adventure Books Clouds. And that alone is pretty cool. We've actually seen most patches ArenaNet have put out recently, or ever since Heart of Thorns, have expanded upon decorations. So this decoration trader here, Fion, is the guy we're talking about. We've seen them add raid bosses, we've seen them add world boss stuff, and now that Super Adventure Box is here, as you can see, Liz here, she's got 2 coins, and as I buy these, I can get these Super Clouds. So it's kind of cool that they added decorations, but the Super Adventure Box update did something very different to other updates that have added decorations, in that it made the decorations big. So you get these Super Adventure Books Clouds and you craft them together. First of all, far more affordably than anything we've had before, especially after the spring update. They're going to be even more affordable to craft these into actually worthwhile decorations. But what the Super Adventure Books team has done is they've made actual structural objects. And it's the point where if you really want to play with them, you can make floating SAB worlds. So I really want to show this off to you guys. I want to explain the power of this, the secret sauce that is coming to Guild Wars 2 that you might not have appreciated. I do think it's a huge shame. I think that the decoration system is probably one of the best things ArenaNet put in with Heart of Thorns. It's just been shy of doing very well. And, well, with this patch, the Spud Club and I, mostly the other people in the Spud Club, I really didn't do very much of this here. I just pointed attention to it. Our scribes, our builders, we have been working hard to get as many clouds out of the Super Adventure Box as possible, make hay while the sun is shining, to build something truly impressive. And I want to show you guys the kind of stuff that is now available without even too much effort, because of the Super Adventure Books patch, how much more it's enabled you to do in Guildhall. So the last time I did a Guildhall video, it was fairly unimpressive stuff. It was, you know, trying to create makeshift small blocks and things to be used as structural large items, and you'd hit all kinds of decoration caps. It was just a huge pain to place things. It was just generally really difficult to work with. Well, the SAB team kind of came along and said, well, no more. So even, for example, these clouds, these basic little clouds here, everybody used to resort to snow in the guild halls to build platforms and build stairways and bridges and clouds. And these Super Adventure Book clouds already are far bigger than the old snow piles everyone was using from Winter's Day. They're cheaper, more accessible than the old snow piles from Winter's Day, especially while the SAB patch is going on. They're flatter and they have more space. The thing is, the bigger that these decorations are made, the better, because the 3 things really that have held guild halls back until this point have been, number 1, the local cap, where you can only have a certain amount of decorations in an area. Number 2, the global cap, where across the entire guild you can only have so many. And number 3, the fact that there just weren't any big decorations. This green platform we're currently stood on is a single decoration. This is a huge difference. This allows you to actually build towers and floors and buildings and environments that people can play in and form jumping puzzles in, just as our guild has done here and done a fantastic job at that. So the bigger the decorations, the easier and easier and easier it becomes to avoid hitting the local cap. And this is the first patch that's really taken advantage of that. I'm really glad that they managed to push these decorations through. I'm shocked that Heart of Thorns, as it originally released, never had more decorations like this that were as accessible as these are. But for example, with these big grassy platforms here, you can already get a taster of the kind of things you can do. So we kind of had this funny idea that because ArenaNet confirmed that they were never going to be making, or well, for a long time it would seem, we're probably not getting a World 3 of Super Adventure Books. It's like, well, now that we've got these, and as more of them come with new Super Adventure Books updates, we can build our own World 3. So this would be like World 3 Zone 1, and it would look a lot like, World 1 Zone 1 as it stands. But you'd be surprised just how quickly and easily you can make large areas. So right now, we are floating way above the guild hall in a completely artificially constructed field surrounded by walls. And still, even with that, which wasn't too hard to get, obviously you need to use scaffolding to build this kind of stuff, we are well enough under the decoration cap limit for me to come in and just dump a bunch of other decorations to make things look pretty, like some of these monkeys and the tent from the Lunar New Year Festival, some trees, which you get just like 50 silver, no crafting required at all for them, some other Lunar New Year Festival things, create kind of an abstract, weird tower thing just to spam out more decorations, I suppose. Some fountains. Even you can drop your fountains and you can have your little, decorations, like a nice little frog in there at the same time. And so hopefully you guys can see just how impressive you can start to make things just because they've given us these bigger decorations. And again, over here, like I had just a couple more grass platforms that I could dump down, some ramps here, and I just decided to fill it up with some helicopters. I'll be honest, I don't have much of an eye for design. You guys are probably seeing this a bit here, but I didn't want to show this off because I think that when Heart of Thorns released, it did so badly with the Guildhall features, it turned a lot of people off of them straight away. A lot of people will think, oh, okay, I only have a couple of friends. Despite what ArenaNet said they wanted for the Guildhalls, clearly it takes a massive amount of effort. But really, I think the bill of all this stuff has been footed by less than 40 people, probably, within our guild hall, within our guild, even though we're a max-capped guild. And this stuff is actually far, far more within your reach to actually get. The problem is, it's only festival based, and the problem is, we have no confirmation from ArenaNet that future festivals and future updates will continue to add awesome decorations like this that are actually good for structures, for building actual legit floating islands and building your own areas of content, creating entirely artificial zones. We don't know whether the next patch is just going to add a bunch of random little decorations like we've seen with the crappy little raid decorations that we've had going on. So because of this, it puts a lot of focus on the Super Adventure Box right now. It means that those super clouds you can currently get, those furniture coins you can currently get in Super Adventure Box, you want to fill up on those as hard as possible. You don't want it to be that in 6 months' time, when you want to make another awesome, huge project, maybe you want to, and this is theoretically possible, maybe you want to just plaster at this height the entire guild hall over with a giant green Super Adventure Box field. This kind of stuff is actually possible. You probably wouldn't hit global cap from that. And, if you come out with such a crazy, awesome idea, after the Tuesday patch rolls through, that's not going to be possible anymore because you're going to only have a finite amount of clouds. So I did want to mention this to you guys, hopefully renew a little bit of interest from people to, really sit back and actually appreciate, hold on, stuff is happening with the decorations. We never had a formal patch that went out that said, oh, by the way, decorating is a much more viable thing now. You can actually do much more interesting things now. We never had a formal patch note that said that, but just because of the decorations themselves that have been added, you're actually starting to find more interesting things. When Heart of Thorns first came out, we saw a couple of interesting videos from people who built like these pretty little spires out of various decorations and used the Halloween decorations a little. But nobody's really tapped into it too much. And I'm a little scared that some good has been done with the game that now, unfortunately, is just being completely ignored. So I wanted to showcase this to you guys. All credit, so here we got like a little cave area, as you can see. All credit goes to the handful of people who actually built this stuff, who have been contributing. If you guys want to do it for your guilds, obviously you can go ahead. The other thing that's kind of cool about this too, I would say, if you are feeling like you want to capitalize a little bit, obviously, once Super Adventure Books goes away, we do find a culture in Guild Wars 2, maybe you guys don't know about this yet, where people actually sell decorations to one another. So, through LFG, you may sometimes find people doing this. They'll say, hey, I've got a Heart of Thorns Deluxe token. I'm selling it for 20 gold. and someone will give you 20 gold. You join their guild, you dedicate the token, and then you get kicked from the guild, and you got 20 gold. So you can basically sell things at the moment through LFG directly to players that never was a mechanic before the guild halls came to exist. And this same thing can be done with the Super Adventure Clouds. People in this patch with the Super Adventure Box have found a really nice way of already making a lot of money from LFG by selling Tribulation World runs through an oversight from the devs. You can see that going on all over the place. Those of you who have been collecting clouds and actually take advantage of collecting a lot of clouds, you're going to find once the festival goes away, people will continue to want to buy them. And the price of those clouds and what you can sell them for goes up and up and up as time goes by. So even then, it's still worthwhile stockpiling if you're not going to give them to a guild straight away. If you don't want to see any of these awesome construction projects, like this little bit here really does feel quite Super Adventure Boxy, actually, right here with this little jumping section. This is more of just like a prototype, a proof of concept, I suppose, more than anything else. But there's like a reason for everyone to do it. There's a way to earn a lot of money, and it's because people, if ArenaNet don't add any more good structural decorations, people are going to be forced to get in the clouds, and they're basically going to be stuck with that. So here we come up to basically this jumping puzzle, or this Super Adventure Box world. This leads you to the highest area of the Lost Precipice, so you get a cool little hedge fountain there. Obviously, this is now no longer just Super Adventure Box stuff going on. We did end up running out. I would say what you've seen in this video is still fairly expensive, but when the Tuesday patch comes around, as I said, the only reason this stuff is expensive is because of the scribing kits, which you have to craft to do a lot of stuff, and the way that they would nerf scribing costs is to directly affect those elements of scribing. So you could find that these things all drop in price massively, and then the clouds may be the thing that gets a little bit more expensive. So make hay while the sun is shining. If I were you guys, we want to come up this way. I was the one that dumped all these little plants here. And decided to just try and spice this area up a little bit more. And in addition, actually, to this jumping puzzle here, which we're almost done with when we get to the top of this rock, which is the highest one, I do want to show you guys one other thing, and this is a plan that we're going to be going to after we've sort of shown off this little Super Adventure Box world here, and that's to do with the arenas. See, you guys should, if you remember, I've tried to do a few different decoration videos before, back when it was a much bigger hassle, much bigger struggle to actually get this stuff going. I did a couple of videos where I talked about the arenas and the idea of turning this like single floor arena into a multi-floored arena, you remember? And we used, first of all, a bunch of the Heart of Thorns deluxe items, and then we built a labyrinth, and then we tried to use like the ice blocks to build some kind of floor. Well, now that the Super Adventure Box patch has come in, so here you go, this is the end, and you can see the entire world as we've climbed through. Now that the Super Adventure Box update has come in, and we have these cool ramps, and we have these cool, like, grass platforms, well, suddenly... Oh, people are actually in here fighting as well. Well, suddenly, you can so much easier accomplish your goals, all right? Just because of this patch, the true power of the SAB patch. We now not only have a 2-story arena, we actually have a 3-floor arena. And it was really easy to accomplish. Didn't take much gold, much clouds at all to do, as long as you've got the scribe that can actually create it. I think it's level 200, and even then it'll be easier to level scribing. And you actually have 3 floors here, which are all legal combat zones, where you are actually legally capable of fighting. So it's so much easier. You could easily build another outer ring that pushes around the outside with more of these platforms. It is just straight up a fantastic addition to the guild halls. And the next main thing I've got my eye on is, you guys might remember in a previous video, I talked to you all about how if you go a little bit too high, for example, if I was a Revenant right now and I used my hammer leap, I would push myself out of the combat zone and I would become like a neutral enemy, and then I'd be kicked out of fighting. That's a problem on this guild hall. However, the Gilded Hollow does not have this problem. For some arbitrary reason, I couldn't tell you what that arbitrary reason is. It upsets me greatly, but we are actually thinking of paying the 100 gold to swap our guild hall away from the magnificent, clearly superior, Lost Precipice and move it to the Gilded Hollow, where you get this huge arena that you could essentially build this style, spiral multi-floored tower, except it could go up and up and up and up and up very high. And you could create really cool PvP game types where people, you've got like the green team that is charged with the task of climbing the whole way up the tower you know, like 5, 10, 15 floors high up a tower to plant a bomb at the top, which, you know, they press F on some decoration to activate it. While the enemy team respawns and can climb up much quicker, and they've got to battle their way up. You could do all kinds of cool stuff like that. It's basically been enabled because of the SAB patch. So yeah, that to me, that is the true significant thing of SAB. You guys should know about it. Next patch, SAB is going away. Stock up on those clouds if you like. And last of all, if you like the idea of this, if you do seriously doubt your friends are capable of pulling off projects and stuff like this, you can always join this guild. This has always been open to anyone at any time. And the more people we have who are interested in pulling off cool projects like this, the better. Because in the future, I'd love to show you guys more awesome, incredible things like what we've already got built here. And hopefully blow some minds. And hopefully encourage some other people to build other things that will start blowing minds. Because we're going to start to see that's possible thanks to SAB. So thanks very much for watching, guys. That is all I really wanted to say for today. I will see you tomorrow for another episode. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think. And have a good evening, everyone. 30 seconds says K Shadowrun, or you wouldn't be able to monetize it. Frickin' joke, eh? Says RPG Goodness. Please tell me this is a late April Fool's joke. Otherwise, what the fuck, sigh. Some people, of course, then, you know, just being your typical angry YouTube commenter, but other people putting a little bit more thought into their comments here. This sneak peek literally tells us nothing, ArenaNet. We see views of mostly meaningless aesthetic junk, which has nothing to do with the content subject. And, to put the cream on the top, the actual sneak peek we see is only 11 seconds. This general sentiment, both on the official Guild Wars 2 YouTube channel version of the trailer and the 10-ton hammer one, is basically